This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
Good morning and welcome to the Hello Africa Morning Show, coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities here in Accra, Ghana. My name is Philemon Edwards, and now to the top African news. A fire broke out on Thursday at the COP30 Climate Summit venue in Belém, Brazil, prompting the full evacuation of delegates after flames spread rapidly through several national pavilions. Authorities say the blaze, believed to have started near the China pavilion, possibly from a generator failure or electrical short, injured 13 people, all treated for smoke inhalation. The site was closed for 7 hours as firefighters contained the blaze in 6 minutes, with officials now investigating how unfinished structures and ongoing construction may have contributed to the emergency.
The scene captured with flames climbing along a wall and rapidly engulfing neighboring structures, most of them temporary reinforced fabric buildings. Brazil's tourism minister Celso Sabino reported that early assessments point to either a generator malfunction or an electrical short circuit as the likely cause. Fire crews brought the blaze under control in just 6 minutes, but by then 13 people had suffered smoke inhalation and required medical treatment. The entire COP30 venue, still partially under construction even as meetings began, was shut down for nearly 7 hours. Exposed beams, unfinished corridors, and plastic-covered pavilions had already raised concerns throughout the summit. Volunteers say drilling and hammering were still underway, while world leaders delivered speeches earlier in the week. When the fire broke out, security staff rushed attendees out of the pavilions. One volunteer from Belém said she saw thick black smoke moments before a guard led her outside, and she feared the incident would damage Brazil's reputation as hosts after months of preparation. By nightfall, delegates slowly returned to the reopened zones, though barricades kept them away from the charred remains of the affected pavilions. Negotiations resumed in other halls as investigators worked to determine the exact cause and assess safety across the venue. The incident now raises urgent questions about construction standards and emergency planning at one of the world's most significant climate gatherings.
Nigeria has shut schools in 5 districts of Kwara State after armed gangs attacked a church, killing 2 people and abducting others on Tuesday evening. The closures, ordered by state authorities, aim to prevent further attacks amid rising nationwide insecurity, including the kidnapping of 25 schoolgirls in Kebbi State earlier last week. The shutdown comes as President Bola Tinubu, who cancelled upcoming foreign trips due to the crisis, faces mounting international scrutiny, particularly from U.S. President Donald Trump, who has threatened military action over what he claims is the targeting of Christians. Nigerian officials say they are working to restore safety while confronting what they describe as a misrepresented security situation.
The emergency action in Nigeria follows a deadly attack earlier this week when gunmen stormed a church on Tuesday evening, killing 2 people and kidnapping several others. The assault has shaken communities in Kwara, a state that borders the Republic of Benin, and raised questions about how far the violence could spread. This comes on top of yet another attack on the nation's education sector, the kidnapping of 25 schoolgirls from a boarding school in Kebbi State on Monday. The pattern of abductions and assault has increased pressure on the federal government to act decisively. President Bola Tinubu, confronted with the rising unrest, postponed his planned foreign trips, including the G20 summit in Johannesburg, to focus on the crisis at home. Meanwhile, Nigeria is facing heightened scrutiny from Washington. U.S. President Donald Trump has already publicly threatened potential military action, accusing Nigerian authorities of failing to protect Christian communities. Tinubu has since dispatched a delegation to the United States to clarify what he describes as a misrepresentation of a complex and evolving security landscape. For families in Kwara and beyond, the immediate concern remains safety, with schools now closed. Communities await further instruction as security forces intensify patrols and attempt to prevent further violence.
Lawyers for Nigerian separatist leader Nnamdi Kanu have rejected a court ruling that sentenced him to life imprisonment on terrorism charges. Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, was convicted on 7 counts, including inciting and directing violent actions in the southeast. His legal team says the judgment is unjust and will be appealed.
Kanu was accused of issuing and enforcing stay-at-home orders across southeastern Nigeria, directing others on bomb-making aimed at government facilities, and inciting violence through broadcasts and public statements. His lawyer, Aloy Ejimako, condemned the ruling, calling it a day that will forever live in infamy. He insisted that Kanu was convicted solely of his words and argued that the statement was overboard, cruel, and unusual. He added that the legal team will continue to challenge the verdict. State prosecutors, however, welcomed the decision. Lead prosecutor Adeboyega Awomolo said national securities cannot be compromised for sentiment, adding that the verdict reinforces that no one is above the law. Authorities had initially sought the death penalty but secured a life sentence after the judge's ruling. Kanu was first arrested in 2015 but fled the country before a court appearance. He was later rearrested in 2021 and extradited from Kenya. Nnamdi Kanu has long led the push to revive Biafra, a secessionist movement tied to the 1967-1970 civil war that claimed an estimated 3 million lives.
Award-winning Ghanaian journalist Manasseh Azure Awuni has called out the Ghana Police Service for unlawfully detaining a blogger and journalist beyond the 48-hour limit required by law. This follows the arrest of Samuel Amadoto of D-Class GH, who police accused of publishing false information about a former National Communication Authority board member and traditional ruler. The mounting criticism has triggered a fresh debate over the country's false news law and police handling of media practitioners.
The Ghana Police Service is facing growing public backlash over the arrest and continued detention of blogger and journalist Samuel Amadoto of DKLASGH.net. According to a police statement released on Wednesday, November 20, the journalist was picked up for allegedly publishing false information about former NCA board member and traditional ruler Okatachie Boachi Dankwa Ababiu II. Police say Amadoto has admitted to the offense and is expected to be arraigned before court. But several prominent Ghanaians, led by celebrated investigative journalist Manasseh Azure Awuni, are questioning the legality of police action. In a strongly worded Facebook post, Azure asked why the suspect was not brought before court earlier, noting reports that he had been held for more than 48 hours, a clear violation of Ghana's laws on detention. Azure criticized the continued use of the false news law, insisting it had been abused for years. He argued that matters of defamation should be handled in civil court, not through criminal arrest. In an earlier post directed at the Criminal Investigations Department, Azure claimed Amadoto was interrogated mainly over a video involving investigative journalist Anas Amirial Anas. He demanded clarity on why bail had not been granted and whether the journalist had other alleged offenses. The criticisms extends to Parliament Ketu South MP Edem Agbana, also condemned the police handling, warning that the perceived heavy-handedness and unprofessional conduct of some officers could unfairly damage the public image of President John Dramani Maham's administration. He urged the police to communicate promptly and transparently whenever journalists are arrested, noting the president's long-standing positive relationship with the media. For now, the police service insists the blogger will face court, but pressures continues to mount for a review of both the arrest procedure and the broader false news law.
And in our final story, the Ghana Armed Forces recruitment exercise in the Greater Accra region has resumed under tightened and more efficient arrangements. This follows the recent suspension after chaotic scenes at the Elwak Stadium led to the tragic loss of 6 young women. The exercise being held at Elwak Stadium Nicholson Park, Bema Camp, the Training and Doctrine Command at Tishin, and the Eastern Naval Command in Tema saw applicants processed in batches of less than 1,000.
This structured approach sharply contrasts with the chaotic scenes of November 12, when overcrowding at the Elwak Stadium resulted in the deaths of 6 young women and forced a temporary suspension of the exercise. At the Eastern Naval Command in Tema, applicants arrived early and were received by officers who rigorously checked documents before ushering candidates into briefing and screening areas. Flag officer commanding the Eastern Naval Command, Commodore Solomon Asiedu Labi, described the process as smooth and efficient. He revealed that the command aims to process 500 applicants daily, noting that by midday, 407 candidates had reported, with the final mop-up session scheduled for Saturday. He outlined 3 main screening stages: waiting, documentation, and body selection, with separate sections for male and female applicants. At the Elwak Stadium, officials report a smoother flow after earlier disruptions. Colonel Evelyn Asamoah of the Ghana Armed Forces Public Relations Department said new arrangements have created more space and improved coordination among the various agencies involved. She added that 2 teams at Elwak are now able to handle up to 1,600 applicants per day. To ease the harsh dry season heat, water was provided to prevent dehydration among recruits. Over at Nicholson Stadium, Lieutenant Colonel Rita Anani confirmed an increase in capacity to 800 applicants per center after additional screening teams returned from other regions. She assured the public that the process remained orderly with no casualties recorded. The Ghana Armed Forces also accredited food and drink vendors to operate in designated zones to ensure safety and proper crowd management.
And that's how we end our top African news on the Hello Africa Morning Show. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with a news review.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with aautv. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on aautv. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. aautv reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch aautv free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at aautv. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAUTV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
Hello Africa, keep watching AAUTV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
Welcome back from that break, and if you are joining us, this is the Hello Africa Morning Show, still coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities here in Accra, Ghana. Wherever you're watching us from around the world, especially in Africa, you can send your messages across and join us whilst we have chit-chats about relevant issues affecting higher education, affecting Africa, and then the world at large. My name is Philemon Edwards, and I'll be doing this with my brother, Dr. Ajiman Otre Dako. And just before we begin the show, I don't know if you have seen yet so far, I chanced on a video. As a matter of fact, my team here also chanced on that video. And it's interesting to know that Ugandan MP, or a Ugandan MP by name Ocho Khalid, returned from a 2-week trip abroad with a fresh accent that left his parliament confused, because the fellow MPs didn't understand how a 2-week stay abroad suddenly changes an accent of a grown person. Look, you and I can understand usually when you send a child abroad and the child grows there, their accents and language is easily influenced, but not an adult who only spends 2 weeks outside of his country and then suddenly the accent has changed. Take a look at this video and tell me what you think.
The water strips the copper deposits into the water bodies, and it's the same water body that is used as drinking water. Mr. Speaker, I think this is a disaster that it could cause an extinction of an entire community. As a matter of emergency.
Point of procedure.
Because the English that is trying to put this matter here is confusing a number of us and making us miss a very serious issue that is affecting very many people, even in the countryside. I am straining myself to understand him, and yet he's saying a very serious issue. And Mr. Speaker, next time Mr. Atikens is supposed to present, he needs to speak the common English of Uganda. We are tired of this, whether he gives us a paper and we follow word by word, because the English is too much. We are just from campaign.
So,
All right, so I want to try my foreign accent, which I have acquired from nowhere, but in Ghana. Have you drank any tea this morning? Because on the Hello Africa Morning Show, I have a cup of coffee. So as I speak to you right now, I'll be sipping on my coffee and be drinking some water from Vienna. I don't know what you'll be doing in your houses as you're watching me right now. That's my accent. That's very interesting. Now, how does an MP, okay, a lawmaker in Uganda travel outside of his country only for 2 weeks and suddenly returns with an accent? It is very interesting. It is, I have no words to, go further about this issue, but it's just interesting to know that a fellow parliamentarian has to stand up by probably giving a point of order to say that they could not, or she could not understand the English that the fellow MP was speaking, simply because another MP has gone out of his country for 2 weeks abroad and suddenly has developed an accent. You and I should take a trip outside Ghana or any part of the world, probably in Europe or in America, and then maybe we can have a blessing of a change of accent. I don't know what you think. Anyway, in our next video, Ghana celebrates the Ghana city as 60 years old. Very interesting, very remarkable achievement. And it's interesting to know that over the last few months, especially in this year, the city has appreciated very well against the dollar, stabilizing the Ghanaian economy, because in the past few years we've had a lot of challenges when it comes to doing transactions between the cedi and the dollar when you put those two currencies together on the world market. But to say that the cedi has gone through all of these processes, okay, from when 60 years ago Ghana had its own currency, from back then the pounds we used to spend, and then we had a cedi. And then in 2007, some time ago, we had the redenomination of the cedi to the new Ghana cedi, and we have come a long way. And so Ghana celebrates the 60 years of the Ghana cedi. Just take a look at this video as well.
crazy, you go crazy. Every day wahala, our doctor. I hope you know be cancer. As I wake up today, it be colic away I chop. Nothing they confirm, and they call pastor.
In 1965, that the cedi replaced the Ghanaian pound, pence and shillings. This was the result of a bold plan by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to free our economy from colonial structures. As we know, the cedi is drawn from the cowrie shell, which for centuries served as reliable currency. Thus, Ghana sent a signal that our history did not begin with colonization, and that independence and sovereignty may be found in our ability to express value and transact in our own terms. The cedi has since borne witness to our achievements and also our problems. Indeed, our currency is a social contract that reflects our confidence in our institutions and economy.
That was Ghana's Vice President speaking at the celebration of the cedi at 60 years. And obviously, Ghana is proud to have been able to, do something with the Ghana cedi throughout all of those years, right until now. If you're watching us from any part of Africa, let's know how old your currencies are. It will be an interesting thing to know how well your currencies are doing in the various African countries. And then if you can give us some feedback about how it has evolved over the years, it will be a good thing to look into. Not necessarily comparing those, but just to see how economically we are all doing across the African continent. So we'll go into our first story, and we'll go back to Nigeria. There's a lot of Nigeria today in our story. So Nigeria has rolled out a major new initiative aimed at transforming university innovation into commercial startups. The Student Venture Capital Grant, SVCG, launched by the Federal Ministry of Education, offers up to 50 million naira, approximately $34,500 to support student-led STEM projects in universities and colleges. Now, the government says the goal is to identify and nurture the next Nigerian unicorns, with President Bola Tinubu challenging the sector to find the next moonshots within tertiary institutions. The grant targets third-year students onward with viable innovation projects in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medical sciences. Applicants go through multiple rounds of assessments, business model validation, incubation, and milestone tracking before receiving funding. Many students say the scheme could unblock access to funding, one of the biggest barriers they face. They believe it will help them scale prototypes into full businesses, from renewable energy solutions to health monitoring devices. Academics also welcome the move, saying it could strengthen innovation ecosystems. It could strengthen innovation ecosystems within universities, but they emphasize the need for sustainability, strong project monitoring, and improved infrastructure for research. So this is absolutely a brilliant idea so far, coming from Nigeria, where an amount of $34,500 has been made available to support student-led STEM projects in the universities and colleges. So this means that students have to put their projects and their ideas together to be ready to, make it visible or pitch whatever ideas they have to be able to access funding from this available funds of $34,500. dollars. And this is great news because obviously it's been challenging over the years, not only in Nigeria, but for several African countries where students have brilliant ideas, even beyond students, generally, even when you talk about business ideas across board, people often have business ideas and suddenly they are unable to progress and their businesses are unable to see the light of day simply because there is no funding or there's the lack of funding. Even if there's funding at all, it's so small that even when they start those businesses, they are somehow, some way, you know, holding back on the business along the way because they don't have enough funds to push the businesses forward. So many startups often have this kinds of challenges. So it's not any different to know that students, obviously, who are not working yet, have struggles to secure seed funding, even for prototype development of whatever ideas they have whilst they are in school. So it's a great news to hear that this initiative is coming up for students in Nigeria. This also sometimes is as a result of poor research infrastructure. Okay, people have argued, or scholars have argued, that sometimes funding is difficult because of poor research infrastructure. This just goes to say that even though people have ideas, the infrastructure that they need, the logistics that they need to be able to, put together their research and come up with their innovative ideas and do their pitching, those infrastructures are not there or they are pretty much non-existent. So this is very challenging for many students. So pretty shortly, I would have a guest join me online to be able to discuss some of these initiatives and to see the extent to which this initiative is going to help students in Nigeria, and hopefully even people generally or anybody that has any business idea can be able to take a cue from and be able to get into the field of business with their startups or any idea, whether it should even STEM related or not. Again, as part of the discussion going on that has brought about this innovative idea, there's also been the issue of lack of incubation support, where few structured programs are available to guide students through business development. And this is a pretty much big conversation because usually people have always made arguments. I've seen this thing happen many times on social media where the claim is that, especially in Africa, we are often training and developing graduates only to be employed by other people. We don't train them to be business savvy. We don't train them to be entrepreneurs. We don't train them to be able to come up with startups. We only train them to feed existing jobs, which should not be the case. What has happened to entrepreneurship? What has happened to the opportunities that will have people be able to have a business development idea or a session whilst they are in school, so that even before they come out of school, they are ready to be able to put these ideas together. So joining me will be Israel Ayola Timilehin, who is a student and a tech innovator and a campus director for Millennium Fellowship, FUT-MENA cohorts of the Federal University of Technology, MENA in Nigeria. Can you hear me, Israel? Hello, Israel. Can you hear me?
Hello, good morning. Hello.
I
Hello.
guess. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You can also hear me.
Awesome. Awesome. Welcome to the Hello Africa Morning Show, coming to you live from Accra, Ghana. I trust you are doing well this morning.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning to everybody around the globe. Thank you so
Great.
much for having me.
Great. You're welcome. I'm guessing Toby Loba Bankole is also on the line. Toby, can you hear me? If you can hear me, just say hello and let's get on with the interviews, please.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. Good morning, sir. I can
Okay,
hear you
Toby,
clearly.
great. It's great to have you. Welcome to the Hello African Morning Show. All right, so Israel, let me begin with you. Um, how did you receive the news of the new student venture capital grant?
Thank you so much. First and foremost, I would love to introduce myself properly. My name is Ayola Timilan Israel, a student of Mechatronics Engineering, Federal University of Technology, Mina, here in Nigeria. So when I received the news and I saw it online, I was so much relieved and so much happy. Just because a lot of us do have problem with no support from the federal government, but seeing this online and giving me is a great confidence that I will be part of this and I will be able to get this. This really give me a lot of confidence. And this and seeing this, we can see that our government are being to see that there is power, there is great innovations in the country, shifting from only maybe petroleum or any source of income to shifting to innovation and knowledge economy. That I do see most time that even if Nigeria or African countries can do this kind of thing, they really help a lot of talent and a lot of economy. It will definitely benefit the Nigerian economy.
From you, you are a mechatronics engineering student and robotics innovator from Bells University of Technology in Nigeria. Tell me, how did you also receive the news of the new student venture capital grant? Can you hear me? Hello, Toby. Okay, it appears Toby is having technical challenges. So, Israel, let me come back to you. Let's continue with our conversation. So, before this grant was announced, tell us what are some of the biggest challenges you personally face trying to develop or test your ideas within the institution?
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks so much for that question. As I said, the greatest challenge most time is funding or maybe lack of mentorship, and there is no maybe incubation or lab to even give chance to students like us, so that we can also have more chances to be able to do more. Just because when you have a lab or you have a community of like-minded people, you have a community, you have a lab where other innovators come together, you'll be able to think so wide and so well. So seeing with this kind of uh grant innovation, this will really help us. This will really help us just because we face a lot of problem when it comes to funding and everything. But if we have this kind of a thing, it will really help. And also, if you have, like I said, if there are mentorship, if there are incubations, and if there are proper guiding from time to time, you'll be able to do more in our own side too.
Some good news regarding funding. What kind of innovation or projects would you want to, develop if you decide to apply?
Okay. Thank you so much for the question. No, there are different what's it called? Different ideas at hand with me and my team. So, but the one I would love to use is like a wind shear model. Just like when you have these are sustainable energies, but we people are not using it. So when I make a little research, you see, for you to build a wind turbine is somehow expensive. But what if we have a central turbine in maybe like a farm? Then probably you bring a P2P model. You have a central turbine farm. Then maybe farmers can then come together then buy units, just like with prepaid units. So this kind of P model, just like a sharing model in our wind turbine. So this is just like me leveraging more wind energy and sustainable energy and clean energy compared to our fossil fuel that we are using. So this I would love to call it maybe like a windshield model, just like windshield.
Is the windshare model already available in Nigeria?
Oh, okay. Actually, I do you mean personally on what I build or maybe what
I
people are
mean, is
using?
it a thing that already exists in Nigeria?
No, 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 no. I've not seen that kind of a thing before. Like I said, what is more common is the wind energy, and it's not even that common in the rural communities. So this wind share will make a lot of people to be able to use this more often, just because for you to be able to set up a wind energy or wind turbine is somehow expensive sometimes. But what if we have this maybe in a community, then easily anybody can just come, maybe you pass all the electricity to everybody else, but they will pay as they use, they pay for what they use, just like a prepaid model in our electricity. But this is a very new concept. This is a new concept. I've not seen it around.
To know that this is a groundbreaking breaking concept for you and in the region in which you find yourself. So how do you how prepared are you for the application process when it officially opens?
Okay, thank you so much. Like I said, I already have my pitch deck ready. So I and
Okay.
my team just need to upgrade the pitch deck and also make a very um, detailed video on how the model will works and everything. Then do our we have a little prototype, like just like the model rather. We have the model of the 3D model that we already have. So during the course of the program, we'll see other ways we can have advantage and also have chance to be able to get this. But but during this course, we just have to improve our pitch deck, our written pitches, our video, and everything to support us getting the grant.
The application process, do you have an idea how difficult or easy it is to be able to go through it to the point of accessing the funds?
Okay, actually, like I said, they just this is a new stuff from the government. I tried to register, but seems they're still updating the website. The website is still going some processes. So I tried to register last week, but it was kind of delaying when it comes to getting the OTP code to register. But I'm still waiting for more criteria and processes on it, though I don't have much info about how hard or easy it will be.
Okay, all right. So, in your view, this amount we are talking about is 15 million naira. How will this money grant or this grant help cushion some of the financial limitations student innovators like you face on campus?
Okay, thank you so much for that. Like I said, it will really, really help us massively. And also, apart from the grant, like I said, a lot of us lack mentorship. There's no incubation programs. So this kind of program will definitely solve the funding aspect of our innovation, just because this will really and really help us. It will really help us and go a long way. Just because most time we do apply for what's it called, all those innovation and hackathon. But most time your team might just be like top 5, top 10, and what they need is just top 3. There's nothing you can do. But with this kind of grant, you'll be able to see a lot of teams will be able to get this and be able to fund your innovative project. And with this, you can also get access to mentors around the globe that are already in these niches that and can also help you. And also with provision of incubation programs and more technical approaches to this will definitely help us a lot in a lot of ways.
Finally, beyond the incubation programs, um, the mentors, and now you are about to have some funding. Beyond these three major things, is there any other thing you think that you will need to be able to take off when all of these things are in place?
Yes, yes, I really love that. Thank you, sir. So, one thing about you say a lot of innovations when they want to come out, you will see maybe like let me just say we need support for regulatory bodies, just because for you to just skyrocket or for you to just start selling or bringing your product to the market, you need a lot of access to regulatory bodies, with if they can also provide this kind of thing, it will definitely help regulatory bodies and also probably marketing, what's it called, people in the marketing areas, mentors in marketing areas, or marketing specialists that can also help our, what's it called, projects or innovative projects to go far in the market. And also we need support from the NGOs to be able to tell people more about renewable energy, why they need to use this to our fossil fuel and everything. So support, regulatory body support, NGO support, and also marketing specialists. I hope this will really help, and the project will be able to launch so well in the market.
Beautiful insight from you, Israel. I hope that when you have finally gone through this process, we'll hear from you and know what next happens when all of these things are in place, including just what you have mentioned, the regulations, the NGOs, civil society organizations, including your marketing strategies when everything is in place. So from the AAU and everybody here, we want to wish you well and hope that everything goes on well for you. We'll keep following the story, and then we hope to see your wind share model come alive very soon in Nigeria and in some parts of Africa. Thank you for joining
Thank you
us.
so much. Thank you so much.
So that was Israel Ayola Timi Lehin. He's a student, tech innovator, and the campus director for Millennium Fellowship. And he joined us all the way from Nigeria to talk about the 50 million student innovation grant that has been made available, which is equivalent to $34,500 that has been made available for student innovators. Pretty much about a week or two ago, we had a similar thing here at the AAU when we celebrated the African Universities Day, where students showed us what they have been doing in the background. And so it's very beautiful to see people like Israel do things like this. Unfortunately, we were unable to speak to Toby because he had bad network, but he's also a mechatronics engineering student who is doing some very beautiful things in the same field. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with other stories. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAU TV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on AAU TV. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. AAU TV reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch AAU TV free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAU TV. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
Hello Africa, keep watching AAU TV.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
Back from that break, and just before we go on to the next story, I understand Toby has been able to make it back on the line, so let's speak with Toby briefly about this 50 million naira grant. Toby, can you hear me? Hello, Toby. Hello, Toby, can you hear me? Okay, it looks like we're still struggling to get Toby back on the line. When we have him, we'll probably be able to speak to him briefly to know what he's also about to get into whilst he prepares to apply for this grant. So we'll go to the next story, and to do this with me, my brother Dr. Ajiman Ochidakon has joined me now. Doc, How are you doing?
Doing great, man. You?
I am very well, thank you. And you're looking sharp as always.
Thank you. You too. Always bringing the Afrocentric feel.
Thank you so much. All right, so in our next story, a new report by the African Center for Economic Transformation, ACET, reveals that many African countries are missing out on the benefits of technical and vocational education training, or TVET, due to chronic underfunding. The study, covering 6 countries, Ghana, Ethiopia, Uganda, Rwanda, Niger, and Cote d'Ivoire, highlights funding gaps, fragmented financial management, and gender disparities that limit the sector's potential to drive employment and economic growth. Despite reforms and recent initiatives, including Ghana's TVET voucher project, the report calls for increased investment, targeted support for women and rural learners, and stronger linkages between training institutions and industries. Very, very, very brilliant ideas in this very story regarding TVET. I'm one particular person who is a fan of TVET because in my education, I got a chance to go through the Polytechnic before the university.
Okay.
So I did get to see what polytechnics were doing back then. It was surprising to me, even back then when I was younger, to think that why is this thing not going viral compared to how people were glorifying regular degrees from universities? Because if you ask me, I think that one of the things that can drive the economy of Africa is TVET.
Yeah.
I don't know what you make of that, Doc.
I agree with you 100%, Phil.
Great.
You know, our economy is driven by skills. Every economy is driven by skills.
Absolutely.
If you look at the Western economies that are doing so well, that today we make reference of, our economy is driven by hardcore skills. So people who are thriving, or the real work sector, people into the core skills like the plumbing, carpentry, construction, fashion. These are core skills that when you hone those skills, people are able to create their own jobs.
Yeah.
And now sustain the economies, because those are very, very sustainable skills that you can keep on and on and on. But in our economy, unfortunately, we have sounded the horn of TVET. We all know that training, vocational educational training, are important skills one must, I would say, develop or harness. We've got institutions that have that, but there seems to be a huge gap. We have sounded it so many years that we want to create skills. Even the industrial partners say that graduates whom we train these days, they use the word churn, which we say we don't churn, we produce them. They are human beings, we produce them. But these human beings we produce from the universities today lack adequate skills. Now, when someone tells you that your graduates lack adequate skills, it's very disheartening, because as what exactly is the mismatch? Some of them who squeeze or strive to enter into industry, into the white collar jobs, are told that they have to learn on the job again.
Exactly.
Because they haven't got that 21st century critical thinking and ability to be independent in thinking and execute. On the other hand, not everybody is able to gain that traction into main line industry work. So they have to create their own jobs. And that's what the issue is. What skill have you developed to go and create your own job centered on that skill to make a living and even employ others? So we had amassed so many graduates who had transcended beyond frustration and currently have no idea what to do with themselves. And you see, the trajectory actually flows. It's incremental. So you have so many young people who think that, okay, well, with what we've learned, we have no skills to create our own patterns. And therefore, let's enter into any mainline stream. So you hear that there's an opening for the army, then everybody's going. These people could have done something on their own, but yet they are looking for any avenue for job security. So there is an underlying issue about how are we prioritizing skills development. what kind of skills are we trying to develop or harness or nurture? Go over the days. When I was in the primary school, I was studying a course called pre-technical skills.
Exactly.
At least I was able to design and think and create something from paper to prototype. And many of my colleagues who were able to do that very well ended up in technical schools, where they went to intensify that study. And later on went to the polytechnics or technical universities to go and further on. But it occurs that the priority of the technical university, which used to be a polytechnic at the time, was supposed to be a hub where skills are developed. Theory is less. Skills development, design thinking, problem solving, prototype development, using of hands to create solutions, artifactual. Today. So when Nigeria said they would change their polytechnics to technical universities, we raised a flag that we had changed ours, and that had diluted or saturated its focus. It's a polytechnic, a skills development hub. If you are in for skill development, go there. But today, it has been saturated. So you don't know whether are we still looking at enhancing skill development, or it is something else.
One of my biggest disappointments, to buttress your point, to move slightly away even from TVET, is computer science. Where people do computer science in universities and they don't have the actual practicals for computer science. So even in the university, people do computer science, they graduated and say they have BSc computer science, blah, blah, blah. But when you put them to work, they struggle. They have to come out and go to other institutions like NIIT, IPMC, like the Kofi Annan Center of Excellence, all of these kinds of things, to be able to have these things they should have had in the university. So 4 years in the university, they don't gain the skills. They have to go and pay extra to get the skills that they need to actually be a computer scientist. And it does not make sense to me. So it tells me that beyond the problems of like funding or anything of the sorts, I feel like we are not taking these things seriously. In recent times, like at least in the past 2 months, I have spoken to 2 friends who are schooling in the US, and they tell me, look, if you ever think of coming to the US, learn to do this, learn to do that, learn to do this.
Get a hardcore
These
skill.
are the things that make you the money. Don't get a degree like every other person and come to the United States. There's so many schools in the US who are giving degrees. But what are the people doing with their hands? Skills. Okay? So it tells you what these things can do for us when we want to focus in there. Again, I'm disappointed to know that when we think about TVET, we are thinking about funding from outside.
That's unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
That's unfortunate.
Yet we know that if we put our hands to work, the kind of businesses that we will build and entrepreneurs that will produce across this continent will be massive. Because look at the kind of resources we have, even when it comes to timber, for example. Look at what you can use timber for wood. When it comes to arts, of which we have several of these people in Africa. I mean, you did mention pre-technical skills from back then in JSS. I remember a course I did in JSS as well, which was vocational skills, where we had to do kente weaving, we had to do...
Mine was into cooking. I only did food.
Yes. So when we did back then life skills, I don't think life skills is still available.
When I came in, life skills was figured away.
Good.
Was just taken away. So I didn't see. I saw life skill books, but
we had the experience of doing the food pass in life skills, and then the vocational skills I'm talking about had to do with kente weaving. This color wheel that tells you what colors are. So so for me, one of the things that even benefits me till date is I know how to match my colors when I'm dressing up, that kind of thing. Because it has a way of, influencing you. Okay. And we have one part of it, we were learning how to do sewing. I remember one of my works, I had to do a tote bag. Okay, which can carry a laptop easily. I produced it myself.
Absolutely.
So now if I have a problem with my trousers or a shirt, it's easy for me to just mend it at home rather than finding a tailor somewhere. Not because I don't want to pay the person, but
some people don't.
When you find yourself, when you find yourself in a space where you can't
find a tailor, what would you do? And you have to mend your dress. So I feel like even beyond the commercialization of these things, as a person, if you don't have these kind of skills, I don't know how you even survive. It's a major problem.
So the plight of TVET education in Africa is abysmal. We have heads of states who campaign or who have said that we are here to create jobs, create jobs. But they seem to forget, where does the job creation value chain start from?
Exactly.
And when you begin to speak like this, I mean, some people are attacking you with that. Nobody is politicizing here. We are trying to be nation builders here. If you look at the whole job creation value chain, are you creating a job at the end stage or at the prime stage?
Yeah.
Are you building skills from the prime stage, or you're just creating jobs to just create jobs? When you just start creating jobs, what informed the job creation?
Yeah.
Is it something of relevance, of need? Is it something that has got skills to occupy? So many governments, or so the West does, is the West goes back to the prime and strengthens institutions. So TVET institutions are strengthened, are funded.
Yeah.
Today we are worrying on underfunding. They are funded heavily with 21st century world-class infrastructure.
Yeah.
So that learning wouldn't be abstract. It will be exactly what is needed on the field, because the machines you are using is exactly what is needed on the ground.
Yeah.
So now you are more relative and current whilst in the study mode. Post that, you are also not giving that impoverished curricula. The curricula you are using is exactly what industry has tooled, has expressed and molded and shown. So what industry has actually honed and expressed, or let's say presented, is what government takes, remolds, and breaks down into meaningful curricula for studies. So that when we come out there, we know what is happening, because we have been given that in our curricula.
Yeah.
Post that, we also understand market needs.
Yeah.
We're not just coming out to come and then do a research on what market needs. We are already acquainting ourselves with real-time market needs. And we are following.
These are things you see every day.
We see every day. So our studies is an abstract. We use real-time case studies on the ground. And we design and make. For example, you drive on the street, people are dumping every day.
Yeah.
They are dumping in cars. They are dumping on the street. How do we curb this issue of sanitation? What do we create? So real-time case studies are taken to the TVET schools, and then they start thinking of, how do we create mobile dustbins? So do you see today these bottles, empty bottles are used to create these dustbins? That's how we do it. It's tourism. It's nice. It's appealing. You want to even use it because it's attractive. That is how it's done. You make it fun. And also, you're able to diminish that perception that TVET schools are low graded. They are for the less, for those who are dumb. Today, if you go to TVET school, means you didn't do well. Then those who go to universities are the ones who are doing well.
We need to demystify ourselves away from that thing.
Only be diminished and alleviated and eliminated if and only if we channel resources in building up TVET schools. Because indeed, TVET schools, go and look at them right now. Mention one for me to see. Do you even know one?
I only happen to know one just along the East Legon boundary road, but I do not know the name, but I know where the school is.
So many machines in there have turned into, I would say, how do you call it? Antiques.
And there's the NVTI.
They are antiques. They're standing there. It doesn't work. You go and see whole machine in the whole lab. It's not working.
Look, it's a sad to say that, for example, Cote d'Ivoire and Rwanda are always citing issues of underfunding as a major barrier affecting the infrastructure, and then staffing, and the instructional quality. So it means even when it comes to teachers in that field, there's a problem.
Because we haven't really intensified resources. Who will come and teach them how to use these things?
In Ghana, we have allocated only 2% of our educational budget to TVET. It's even giving you that vibe that it's not so important. How do you even allocate only 2% of the educational budget to TVET?
How do you curb unemployment?
So it is the reason all of the points you have made in terms of the myth will continue, because we are even showing that we will just give small of our budget. It means that it's not that important.
Often it is assumed that the things that receive more of the budget or a lot of the money from the budget are the most important things. So if you're allocating only 2% of the educational budget
then we are not
to TVET,
we're not really
obviously
ready to
we are not ready.
Employment.
Yeah.
If you're ready to care about employment, invest more than that.
I completely
do
agree
20%
with you.
plus.
Uganda is doing 4%. Meanwhile, the international benchmark is 20%.
I mean, we can do better.
We
can do better. The monies we spend doing other things are far way more.
It's sad. It's sad. In Ethiopia, okay, still talking about figures, in Ethiopia, 56% of TVET trainees are women. Uganda and Rwanda is between 42 and 43%. In Ghana, is 26%. When you talk about women,
that is not good.
It's very bad.
Because you see, it's 60 years plus.
Yeah.
That we've been proliferating this whole mindset of giving women empowerment. We say women empowerment.
Yeah.
Give women room to lead. Give women room to excel. But look at a very important metric like TVET education. If you want to give women empowerment, give them a very strong and stable skill that they could operate and be balanced.
Yeah.
Like if this is the result we're getting, I think that we are just misplacing priority when it comes to women empowerment.
We are getting
it's just a
things wrong
cliche
there.
and a mirage of its effect of itself. I think so.
It's a shame. I am sad to read about the statistics. I just hope and pray that something can be done about it. I don't know if it's too late to augment the budget and do something about this, because
and
this representation of the figures are poor.
We should mean what we say. I mean, you don't just say we are empowering women as a continent or as a country. And look at the TV statistics when it comes to young ladies or women who are being trained and given hands-on skills. We should do better about that. Women in STEM. I mean, it's all about the agenda and creating more room for women to acquire skills, both in STEM, in TVET, and the whole lot more. We can do better than that. Make it resourced. Allow them to go in there and learn the skills and stabilize them.
Look, it's interesting to say when it comes to the institutional growth and reforms, Ghana looks good, but the commitment must represent itself the way we are seeing the institutional growth. For example, Ghana has increased the TVET institution from 62 as of 2018 to 253 as of 2023. Very good. But it doesn't show in our budget. It doesn't show in the gender balance equation. Like, I feel like you can't just put up the structures or infrastructure, build it up, and then not properly resource it. If you were doing it, do it well. And then let's move on from there. We have been talking about unemployment in Africa for so long. Majority of the population of the country in Ghana at the moment is under 30 years. And we talk about unemployment every day. So if we are putting structures in place and we don't want to resource them in the best way we can to make sure this unemployment is kept, I'm afraid we are breeding people to become something else I don't even want to talk about. Because when people are tired and they don't have jobs, they will resort to other means. And that's dangerous.
And I think that, you see, from 62 in 2018 to 253 in 2023, it's commendable to an extent. But it is the responsibility of every government at states to ensure that they add up to our TVET index. Because that is the only hub where skills are created, where skills are honed. If we want to turn around the trajectory of our employment or job creation space in Ghana as a case study, look at that of Uganda, 801.
Very, very beautiful. And 80% are privately run.
801. So we can do better.
When
we complain of lack of employment, we should know that everything has a root cause. Phil, don't just take it from the top or the brim. Go to the root cause.
I agree.
If you want to turn around the woes on unemployment, go to the root cause.
We are good at circling around the problem and seeing everything, but not talking about
what have just 253 as at now.
Yeah.
People are searching around 801.
Yeah.
and you want to change the lives of young people in this economy, giving them sustainable jobs without skills.
Yeah.
They will all mess up.
I completely agree with you.
They will mess up.
I completely agree with you. The recent initiative in Ghana about TVET is that the TVET voucher project is training over 10,700 master craftspersons and apprentices, and an additional 10,000 beneficiaries planned for the year 2026, along with 6 regional TVET centers of excellence. These figures are not that bad. But look at what we just talked about with regards to Uganda, 801 institutions. Well, we are trying to do well to catch up in there. So I'm glad that some attention has been given. But to say that 2% will do justice to this, I don't think it will work.
Yeah, and I think that these expectations or these targets are vague without stating how many are women.
I agree.
So we are training over 10,700 master craft persons, in whom which 9,000 or 8,000 are women.
Yeah.
That is when you see you are making that strategic impact in women, because I want to grow the women community or the women population with skill development. That is how we do it, because it's vague. How many are men? Is it a target for who? We need to do better than that.
Yeah.
In terms of
I completely agree with you on this. Anyway, if you're watching us on the show from your country, if you have information about TV, let's know how you're doing in your part of the world in Africa. It's very interesting, and I believe you agree with us that TVET is the way to go if you want to work around the jobs or make sure we are dealing with unemployment around Africa. All right, on that note, we'll get into the next story, and we'll talk about some health issues currently also affecting Africa. The Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is warning of a surge in cholera, mpox, and Marburg outbreaks across the continent, a sign that Africa's health security remains under severe pressure. According to the Africa CDC, weak water systems, poor sanitation, and major financing gaps are driving the increase in cases. During a weekly briefing, Africa CDC's Incident Manager for Health Emergencies, Dr. Yap Boom, said the continent cannot achieve universal health coverage or pandemic preparedness unless it can finance and produce its own health solutions. He also noted a worrying rise in antimicrobial resistance, with Africa recording some of the highest mortality rates. Okay, so before we continue with this story, I have a few messages coming in from on the TVET story, and this is Grace from Nigeria. She says TVET is something which is very necessary in every country. The government itself should allocate more resources to them. This would reduce a lot of unemployment for youth and build ourselves as a continent. Andrew also from Ghana says we also need to ensure that the quality of education keeps pace with the expansion of essential producing skilled graduates who meet the labor market. I absolutely agree with you, Andrew, on this one. So back to the CDC health related stories. My first take on the story is this. I am not sure, so I'm asking and saying at the same time, why are these stories only peculiar to African countries? For example, when there was COVID, that one we knew was a global pandemic. In the past, we have had Ebola. Okay, I stand to be corrected, but I didn't hear or see of any Ebola case in Europe or America, or even in Asia. So consistently, even on the show, at least once in every month or twice in every of the episodes that we do, you would have a health related story in here. And it is either Ebola, it is Marburg, it is mpox, it is cholera. Like, what is the West doing that we are not doing in Africa? I mean, I'm not asking you to answer directly, but I mean, that's my first take on the issue, because it doesn't add up for me when we always talk about these things and it is always affecting Africa. And every time there are figures that are released, we are talking about a surge in outbreaks across Africa. And there are times, even in some countries, there's always like two of the issues happening at the same time. So, for example, there can be the mpox and cholera happening at the same time, or there can be Marburg and mpox. Like, I don't get it. That's where my challenge is from the beginning.
Yeah, you know, Phil, you have to appreciate the African continent and the way we do our things, right? The way we do our things in this continent is sad. It's sad, and that is how come all these things keep coming again. Pick cholera. What is cholera? Think about it. What causes cholera? Poor sanitation, poor conditions of water and food.
And these are major problems in Africa.
Just think about it.
In the 21st century.
Yes, 21st century.
In 2025.
2025, you still record high case of cholera. Over 300,000 cases. 30% increase than the previous surge. Why, Africa? Go to these areas. Ghana, from 2010, 12, 15, also recorded high volumes of cholera.
Yeah.
And we did all we could do trying to fight cholera, diarrhea, and all that dysentery, because the state of our water bodies, the people drink the water. The same water bodies in this country,
animals also,
the same animals are drinking from it. And so go to the Volta region. It's so pathetic. Go to the Volta region and find people who are fetching water from stagnant pools of water.
Yeah.
And they are fetching for drinking. Go to these villages where illegal mining has taken center stage. And the same water that is used for these illegal mining are the same water bodies fetched from for basic drinking water. So the kids come out and they are already sick.
Yeah.
So this is the country you're talking about. The same country that has got laws and leaders to see to its safety and well-being. Come on. What do you expect? Let's deal with a country that we all relate to. Ghana, for example. So has Ghana gotten over cholera?
We haven't.
Why? Have we not learnt lessons enough? Have we not had enough institutions to educate? Have we not got systems and laws to curb these menace?
That's the funny thing, because there are always figures to show these things and how bad they affect us. So I don't know why we are unable to work around these things. The worst part of it is the health system, even though you see improvements, it's so weak. It's like it's almost even insignificant when you see improvements in the health sector. Like the way we have issues when it comes to health problems, you don't see the same energy matching improvement in the health sector. That's one of my major challenges when it comes to health. I do not understand. I don't get it, because there's always figures, or there are always figures to show you what is going on, talking about mortality rates in Africa, like over and over and over again. So why are we unable to match these things boot for boot? Because it's the problem is, if you don't know the problem, you can't find a solution. But you know the problem and you still can't find a solution.
So it's one word: priorities. Priorities.
Wow.
Now, if you want to fight cholera in Ghana, what you need to do is to ensure that sanitation is keen. It is not about trying to instruct or support. I mean, I would say kudos to Bus Stop Boys.
Absolutely. These guys are
who have
great.
taken it upon themselves.
These guys are great.
To see to it that all of these sanitation issues are solved.
Yeah. Those guys are doing
Once
really
upon
well.
a time, Zoom Lion was contracted nationwide wise to see to sanitation. How did it go? What is the status of that contract? Is Zoom Lion still working for Ghana? If yes, then where are they? If no, fine. Is there any other institution that could be given that mandate to ensure that Ghana is clean, that we don't have, I would say, refuse dams? Sometimes you drive on the street of Accra and you see some people dumping right across the road. Like I see there's no bin.
I see this every day.
Oh, you do? I thought I was the only one who saw it.
along the stretch that I come to work from, on the Medina stretch all the way to Oyarifa.
Yeah.
In the middle of the road, those islands
They would
that
dump.
separates those coming and those going, there's always a huge heap of
They are
refuse
dumping
there.
across the
I
road.
don't know who made that spot a refuse dump. See, what I have noticed is that, so they dump there, and then the vehicle that comes to collect it, when they come, these guys get off and then they carry everything and then put it. But it still does not make sense to gather it in the middle of the road.
Because they are leaders responsible for that job. People who have been mandated to ensure that there's a big bin, that will be somewhere collecting all the waste. But here we are dumping right across the road.
It baffles my mind, because I don't know if anybody has thought about the fact that you can have visitors in your country at any given time, and then they're driving through these places and then they see these things. It is an eyesore.
They don't care.
Can't we find a proper a place to assemble whatever we are going to throw wherever, so that these trucks go there to pick it from
They
there?
don't care.
In the middle of the
They
street.
don't care. You know what? And you know, we have food.
Whoa.
We have people selling food across the street.
Yes.
And these food
All along
vendors,
those stretches.
I
All
mean,
along.
They're just open. These who
Yeah.
sell tabletops.
Yeah.
People sit close to gutters, choked with dirt.
Yeah.
So much garbage.
Yeah.
The same people. Know how drains are very bad in this country. When it rains for more than 20 minutes,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can see the whole
Yeah,
place
yeah,
flooded.
yeah.
These are the same gutters
Yeah.
that we stand by. Go to our beaches, very dirty. Open defecation at the beaches. And you are getting cholera and you are surprised.
It's very surprising.
You can't be surprised.
I
So you ask yourself, what is the priority of the health ministry?
Look.
And I will not start with the Ministry of Health or the Ghana Health Service. It is the Ministry of Health that controls all health-related matters in the country. So it should never be a hand pointed to the Ghana Health Service. The Ghana Health Service is empowered by the Ministry of Health. When nurses were picketing, it was the Minister of Health who met them, not the Ghana Health Service. When somebody entered rage and complained that they've not been given fair treatment, the minister ran from his office to the the hospital to go and apologize for the ordeal created. The Ministry of Health should just sit up and ensure that these chronic diseases that have become quite endemic in Ghana, it's part of our name. Like every year we must hear about cholera.
Yeah.
Somebody must die from cholera.
Yeah.
This should not be our trajectory. It shouldn't be our story.
Yeah.
Malaria. Look at malaria. So every year, if not for the help of the likes of Bill Gates and Melinda Gates, bringing in funding to curb issues of malaria,
The Gates Foundation.
we have created a hub that that supports the growth of mosquitoes. Have we not given mosquitoes that environment to enable them? Have we not?
Beyond the health service, I wonder if individuals know very well the part they have to play, and if they are even playing. Obviously, they don't play. There's the reason.
Phil, you know what? The people in the country, just like any person with a behavior, they are all driven with their today interest. There's somebody responsible for that. That is why taxes are being paid. You understand? So when people are paying their taxes, they expect you to ensure that these ordeals are kept. So gutters are drained, are desilted. All right?
This is very
Communities
very bad.
are clean. Refuse dumps are available and provided and mobile to keep the rubbish. These are jobs for agencies. Constant education is provided. We have the NCCE. It shouldn't be used for only political times. The NCCE is only instrumental when it gets to voting.
Yeah.
But about basic education, about weeding your environment, ensuring that your gutters are not choked, they will not use them for those things. But they are the National Commission for Civic Education. So, what are we talking about in this country? Are we serious
It's a
for
serious
nation
issue,
building?
because the truth is, for example, based on what you're saying, even the NCC, I can't remember when last I saw any publication or anything publicly from them.
Wait till
I don't have to necessarily go to their website.
Wait till December 2028. You will see NCC with their yellow and green vehicles in your community telling you that go and vote. That's what they are good for, just for voting.
This is sad.
So priorities must be set, and they must be set keenly and followed through judiciously. Yes.
I have no words left even to talk about this story at this point.
Yes.
I have no, like, the disappointment is just too much. Anyway, on a quick jump from, before we end the show, from the cholera and the malaria things, on Mpox, this has to do with vaccines. Nearly 1 million vaccine doses have been delivered across 16 countries so far. I am not sure this is enough.
But Phil, you know
why? Like, I keep beyond. My question still remains: the rate at which we are seeing the problem grow, we don't see the same rate in tackling the problem.
You know,
I want to know what the problem is beyond priorities.
Use the COVID-19 case study. See, when we heard of COVID, the first time we heard of COVID, and we began recording cases here in Ghana, the panic and all these things set in. We had to halt the labor space and have people quarantined and kept at homes.
Yeah.
Because we had to now set up to understand how do we approach this pandemic. We found a way out. We were able to empower our own medical and research institutions, the likes of the Gucci, the WAGBABE, and Co., to research into the issue and bring out findings that we can use to make progress as a country. And they did so. Post-COVID, everybody is back doing what they're doing. I would rather be expecting the likes of the Gucci, the likes of Wabik, empowered by government of Ghana, to start working on how do we secure Ghanaians from this disease called Mpox, because it is an infectious disease. Even though it has got its host, mammalian host as bats, some say it's monkeys or bats or whatsoever. It can be, I would say, transmissible. It can be transferred or transmitted to anybody else. We have got bats in Ghana. We got monkeys in Ghana too. So I expect that the research should come out and the findings should be made clear. The government's new accountability series it does at the Flagstaff House or Jubilee House should be used as a forum to update Ghanaians on how we are doing against Mpox and how Ghanaians can also prepare against Mpox. Wait till it becomes a very intense disease here in Ghana. Then you appreciate what I'm talking about. We have got the time to educate. We will not educate. We want to wait for it to become intense. That's when you see, oh, the findings are coming out. When we begin to record cases beyond 300,000 here in Ghana, we shouldn't wait because we have, you see, it has begun. Ethiopia, all right? Ethiopia is recording cases. Cameroon is recording cases. Kenya and DRC. We are not so far away from these people. They say if you see your brother's beard on fire, you fetch water with your hands. You should start making intense effort towards how you can curb it.
I agree with you. I pretty much agree with you. And rather on this, in quote, sad note of Africa's health problems, this is how we are going to end the Hello Africa morning show. You know, when the British sing their anthem, they end it with God Save the King. When the Queen was alive, it was God Save the Queen. At this point, I just want to see God Save Africa. That's all we need right now.
And Phil, God Save Africa, very important. But also, God grants us the wisdom and foresight and the willpower.
I agree.
Because we sometimes lack these things.
I agree very much on willpower.
To take initiatives. Because it ends with Africa CDC insisting that health sovereignty means that vaccine nationalism. You should be able to own your own vaccines and not import vaccines. The ability to produce vaccines, diagnostics, and medicines is non-negotiable from the CDC Africa. This is what we should be able to do.
Is it the over-reliance on other countries or the WHO is what is making us have this problem such that you have to wait on somebody to produce and then send to you? If you're producing for yourself, nobody will have this kind of problems with you. I completely agree with you.
So we should strengthen local industries.
I agree with you.
To be looking at how they could also marshal efforts in creating these solutions. Because enough of importing, enough of relying on foreign solutions for these basic problems.
Yeah. Anyway, before we go, just a couple of comments on the health-related story. Justice from Kumasi in Ghana says, cholera is always going to be a major issue in Africa. We, the citizens, need to change first. The bus stop boys provided bins for people to separate their waste product, but it did not work. They won't be around forever. We, the citizens, need to take initiative and help, and with the help of the ministry to ensure the country remains clean. This one also from Emily in Niger says, most African countries are reactive to such situations. We prefer to wait till such diseases are in our country before we act. Absolutely what we're talking
Always
about.
Always reacting.
Yeah.
We are not proactive. We're waiting for the biggest case that we can see.
This is sad.
That will be serious. Yeah.
This is sad. Africa, let's get proactive. Right now, tomorrow, and forever. Not on any case. Beyond health, beyond anything else, beyond academics, beyond higher education, beyond artificial intelligence, we have to remain proactive. It is enough chasing after the West, where they take lead and do everything before Africa is open to it. This is the time, Africa. Wake up and let's do this. My name is Philemon Edwards, and we did this together with Dr.
And the show is Hello Africa. It could have been Wake Up Africa if we wanted to Wake Up Africa, but it's with Hello Africa. So Hello Africa keeps bringing you that very important information you want to get. This is Wake Up for Africa. So yeah, let's wake up for Africa.
We see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.